Hi, I'm Astonish. As a seasoned brand and motion designer, I have dedicated years in creating intentional, consistent branding that truly stand out. This year alone, I have developed several branding sections that have been featured on Behance, aiming for a new feature that showcase the intentional impact of my work. In this workshop, I'm joined by my brother and partner, Kuumizen, an exceptional brand designer who keeps it super low-key. Together, we will be walking you through our approach to sub-branding using real-world examples and valuable insights. Get ready to dive deep and learn how to create a sub-branding that truly stands out.
So this is the task, right? You're supposed to design a social media brand visual template for Base Africa, right? South Africa using the brand guide from the mother brand. So these are the keywords. Social media brand visual. So am I listing them? Where you cut it. So this one, social media brand visual for Base Africa in South Africa. Right, so do a little research on what we have. Let's take a look at this is chaotic, whatever. So this is what we have for their brand guide. Right, we have this for their brand guide. You know that this is the base logo mark. This is the whole build. This is like the responsiveness of the logo in full. Just the icon, and this is just the icon. Right, so this is all we have. And some colors, and yeah, that's all we have. So let's look at it. Let's approach. We have our base typeface. We have the mother. We have the primary. We have the secondary. So, what do we begin with first? First of all, we need to know what base looks like. So we have like their colors. We have this color palette here. So basically, the main colors are blue, like the main primary colors. These are the main primary colors: blue, black, gray. This graphite gray and white. So now we have a color palette. It's here. So yeah, keywords we have. So when you already got the keywords, Abby. So we have social media, Base Africa, South Africa. So first we begin with a little research, right? Where we are like, okay, where do we begin? So first we have people, which is South Africa. So how do we embed it into the visual? So first of all, we have the base logo right here. Right, we have a South African. So now, how do we identify South Africa? Well, we just go on here. This is how I want to approach it. First of all, I need to see Africa. So yeah, this is what the southern part of Africa looks like. So we have this. So how do we approach this? What we want to do here now is that since Base's identity is built around bricks, blocks, right? Boxes, square blocks. It's built in square blocks. You can see what they are doing here. Everything is built in square blocks, right? So we'll try to mimic the identity of bricks into this thing to create a logo mark for the niche of base. So this is what we are going to do. This is how it's going to look like. Right, so we're actually building it box by box, squares of squares, 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 to form this. Now that we are done, we have this, which is very close, and a rough sketch could look like something like this. A rough sketch could look like something like this. Alright, so this is close to that, but we intend to build it with bricks. Okay, so now that we have our bricks ready, The next phase is to look at what we have. So if you look at phones that are associated with the brand, we have the Doto, which is the primary. Which at the time, so primary font, which is Doto. Yep. Yeah, font one. Then we have these. Yeah, so these are the fonts we'll be working with. These are the fonts we'll be working with. So then, this has always been the typography for the program, which is the hackathon. So the team is called Hackathon South Africa. Hackathon South Africa. Yeah. So it's a hackathon, and we want to build, like we said, we want to build around bricks, right? Which is from the base logo, and that's what we've been able to generate here. From the map of the southern part of Africa to the matching it with the identity. Then we have the logo mark for the brand Hackathon. Everything built around pixels, blocks. Moving forward, pattern, right, to represent the African scene, right? So this is a hackathon. So looking at people coming together, right? This is like a crossbreed, meaning people coming together. Right. Okay, so now that we have all these things in place, it's now time for us to build visuals around the brand. So first of all, looking at visuals, since it's for social media, looking at visuals that we could use for frames, in case we want to put pictures, in case we want to put text. Looking at this is frame one, everything built around the idea of bricks. You can see how they look very much like isolation. Go to the next frame where we're looking at diversification, right? We're exploring more frames. So this is frame 2. We have frame 3. In case we want to differentiate a cluster of speakers, a single speaker, a host, a winner, how we want them to be depicted. And the last one we have is, since it's a competition, since it's a hackathon, we need to assign losers and winners. I mean, we need to assign who was first, who was second, and you can realize that everything is still built around bricks and segmented in colors. Right? So where we are like, okay, yellow is going to be subjected to the winner. These two are always going to runners up. The latter three are going to be, second runner up. Because everything in here is in the brand manual that he gave us. I don't know what was in the brand manual that he gave us. So now that we've been able to deduce all these elements, we can now start designing. So first of all, we start by bringing the back and stick together. So now I'm going to start designing. What this thing is voila. So yeah, first we text our logos. Since our logo is already done, just put the work here. This is the logo mark. This is the hackathon title, and since it's for the southern part of Africa, we already have a helmet here that's going to represent Africa. Right? But since we want to place more emphasis on this, how do we approach it? Okay, we have colors to help us segment whatever we want to do. Titles from marks, from headers, from headliners, from subtitles. So now that we have this, let's not forget the mother brand as well. Right, the mother brand. alignment, center, add both, group these guys together, center them. Then we now have our hackathon. But optically, right? Optically, we need to realize that if you align, yes, it's centered, but optically, you tell that the spacing here, don't make any sense. So you reduce a little bit, then we center it with our eye. So you can see that balance is now balanced. So now, bringing back elements we created, these are patterns that were created. The idea is to use the patterns in the background, right? In the background, in a full drop form. So full drop meaning basically in patterns is when patterns can be seen in their full version. Half drop is when you see half of the patterns. So yeah, you just either you create a pattern by using window, create a pattern options, here you create a new pattern, now you set how you want it to be. Next thing you're going to do is to scan up here, copy this, move to your color swatches, see them there, right? See them there. However, you have the ability to, decrease. You don't want it too much noise happening. Don't want too much noise happening. So yeah, so we're done. Now it's just to test them in various backgrounds of the brand. So what do? Just bring them in here. Okay, copy. Just to black. Always make sure you are testing the stuff. So on my working on the normal color might not be visible. So yeah, we don't want it too much here. So now that we have this, since the main thing is not blue, we just need to change this to blue because that is where Behance wants to make their influence, right? So this is just us trying them in variant ways, right? Variant ways. Right? So now that we have this, now it's time to put together some of these things as a social media flyer. So we have our first frame. These frames are going to be used for images, right? And what does it really mean? That if you want to praise images, so that's the brand for Behance Africa, right? This nice frame. And normally they would have used square, right? But the difference is that this one makes you know that the Behance logo was built around those things, the repetition and the imitation here for brand consistency, right? So now that we have this here, it's not time for us to test images in them. You can see what we did here. At least now you know you got done. So remember that's the steps to do. So you see the here. Okay. So yeah, this is what it look like when we frame images in there. Right, so this is not gone from this to this, which is basically how we want images to look like for page in frames. The next thing is to make sure that, okay, how do we position or align images or create a full visual with these elements that we have? Okay, so we have a background, take the base black. We have our logo here already. Just pick it up. Bring it here. Setting up the visual. This is the main event. Yep, set it to blue.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. And you can also see always have your rollers on in terms of times like this. So what we are doing here is we want to align these guys here. We want to align this one here. So you can see is it aligned? You can just do that here optically. Forget about this. This is like we align it here. That's the hierarchy we want to build here. So just do that. Now it's centered. Guides are important, so guides are very important. So now we are bringing the image you created in here. So let's say this guy here is one of the speakers, right? Let's say he's one of the speakers. And so how do we state this guy as a speaker? Well, we already know the font we're using as this. Realize that this guy is there a contract still. Okay, they are contrasted with inliners are different subtitles. That is the hierarchy of typography. Okay, so now what do we do with this? Well, you still need that base logo up there. So you just have to reposition it over here. Bring the speaker, which is the subtitle here. Bring our image because the focus is on the speaker. Our logo is still going to be hidden somewhere here. Not too big, something like that. Like it's in there. I'm just going to keep all branded. So what do we do now? We left it simple things like name tags and everything. Okay, so this is how we envision names to look like. We are actually picking the name, the primary font. So let's see, the name is Abraham. Abada. The color that can contrast well. We stick to base. Choose me the regular one. Depends on how you want medium. So medium, your contact will be a little bit 16. Always work with a rounded number. Alright. Fix that one inside right here. Alright, you can fix it right here. Okay, so we have the pieces in place. The pieces are coming together. We have the name of the speaker right here. The only thing that we are going to introduce in this element is our patterns. Right? So we already have them. Just copy them here. Placed inside there, like they are not given. It gives it that premium
Texture.
right? Not too noisy. Because imagine if it's too noisy, it's too much. So let's give it a 5. Yeah. So now we have all this thing here. The speaker is there. Let us go always keep your text rounded. If it's 16, I love it with even sharp. Like on Kenny, we're putting the leads. Yep. So now with this thing that we put for the speaker visuals, it means it becomes much more easier to work with them in variant colors of the brand. So I'm trying to going to be in blue, it means this guy here should change either yellow or black. That's how crazy or versatile your branding aesthetic should always be like. Okay.
What happened to our pattern? Okay.
Yeah. So sometimes we can also work it even in the other colors, right? So there are a lot of colors in the brand that we can use to actually work around this. So Control D to duplicate. Okay, so now we want to make sure we are using all this, workable. Remind you, when you're doing this, always make sure whatever you're doing is set out. Right, make sure it's set out. Starting you can try them in various forms. Try black is not working, you can try chickens. So that's the power that we have. If we're going to stay with black, this one is also going to be in blue. Why? Because blue works on yellow. Okay. Yeah. So now that we have this, I think there's green also. I think there's one of the colors. Green. Here. White is already working there. Pattern is also very simple. Okay. So now that we build speaker, some speakers, it's now time for us to build one for a collection of speakers, and that is when this frame that we created comes in. Right? So meaning that this frame is going to take each speaker's image, then here is the name tag, something that was built from here. Right? So you can see that brand consistency. So you can see that frames for speakers are different from frames for the collection. So here, we will take this to turn this to this. Alright, so we turn this to this to show how these frames are going to accumulate this collection of images, right? So we are going to use the same format we use here for these guys here. Needed to do is to move these guys. Abraham. Particularly common speakers. So what this will allow you to have a flow of how your design is going to move Right now that you build this system, systems are very important. They make your whole vision for the design much more clearer and easier. So now we're just bringing in our image collection from the frame we created, and then we place it here well as a headliner. So you can see the subtly blend. And if you look at it well, we are taking our alignment from the end of frame, not the extensions. Right? So you can see that the gap here is same as the gap here, the gap here is same as the gap here. Just to indicate these guys here, so that the colors are always working in different backgrounds. That means black should be working here, or even yellow. Also do the job there. So we duplicate them. Black should be okay, so you just copy them here. See how they already look clean. Then we need to let them come out. So you can stick to black, or you can even stick to yellow. Yellow. Still about going black. Copy the same thing. Still copy the same thing. Even black is very looking well. Also let's this. So you can see how we built a whole system out of these 4 elements. Just 4 elements. So that we can map the text, the pattern, and then this frame. And then we have a system that has been built. So the base, the hackathon event, you go back, built around the bricks block. The map also here, inspired by the Southern African idea. The executions in different forms. The weight ahead really builds frames inspired by the blocks. Built more collage of frames for other use cases. Right, and now we want to look at how we bring in this one and this one into play. So we have 2 more visuals to test them. So now that we are done with the speaker visuals, we are looking at reader's visual as well. How are reader's visual going to look like? Since we already have our text, it's going to be a compilation. This is where this frame comes in. This frame was built for the logos of the products that the readers create. Remember, this is our image frames replicated here. This is the whole idea. Remember, we assigned winner tags, where we said first is going to be yellow, second and third. Just right example, I'm going to take these ones. So yeah, that's how we were able to deduce the whole design for the visual system. So here becomes an image of the winner, it becomes the product, just like what has been built here. So I'm going to show you a series of things we were able to create. This and this was what we came up with. Alright, so always make sure you have your visuals. Now guess what? You can also even extend where you're like, okay, well, we can use this to also assign. We can also use this. So the one they said, okay, green tags are for second place tickets. All these things can also be implemented as well. Just for adaptation. visual hierarchy as well. So yeah, now you know who your readers are and who your runners up are. Out of just the logo brick, the base logo, the South African sounding part of Africa's map, deducing the pixels to match the brand's look, the brand's visuals, the brand's language, and the brand's way of standing out. Went ahead, used their type, used the main typeface to create the logo mark. Added our map, tested them in the brand's color variations, used our frames for images. Normally I would call them brand motifs, right? So brand motifs are created are basically images, sorry, they are shapes that resonate with the brand and how images are going to look like, or shapes, images are going to look. And luckily for us, we're able to do the whole system that has been built on bricks. So yeah, that is how we approached this design, visual, and template. Astonish, I don't finish.
Yeah, beautiful session. I love this workshop. One thing I picked out is the intentionality on consistency. How consistency was built from the program up, and we, even without language, even without making some rules, these things can apply moving forward. You get how now we've been able to establish some rules with colors, right? Even without writing them down, we've established how colors work in this brand system in terms of hierarchy, placement, conversation, information. You get so even with the mere look of this thing, one thing that branding and visual help is that in cases where you don't have to have the time or the effort to read through what is written, you can understand what is assigned, just like how we use it to assign the winners, how we use it to assign the runner-up. You get so when in a case where this thing can be very helpful is when, imagine these things are like we have different winners, you get, in different categories. Mere by the colors we can identify, these are the third runner up, these are the first runner up, this one are the second runner up. It just make everything very easily to digest. You get so branding design system doesn't have to be very complex, and this same approach can be applied to different projects, and that is one thing I like about it. For example, if it was based Nigeria, it would have been a totally different approach, but then the thinking is the same. Aside, I think there's a subconscious tick box that you have to look out for, and you always look out for. For example, the motifs, the colors, the typography, the primary and the secondary one, the logo mark, the primary branding, and these are our sub branding. How do we place them? I like the first where, can you go down a bit? when you talked about the speakers, when we are making the speaker flyers, you saw that it was conflicting with the hackathon. So what you did was, okay, based on your own hierarchy, let the speaker shine in this communication, because that is what you want to communicate in the design. You get? So communication matters. You say, okay, since this particular design was not meant to announce the hackathon in this glory, so let it come down the side and let the speaker stand up, because if they were both placed side by side on top there, they will struggle for attention. So, and these rules was now consistently transferred to every other. Then even without saying it, yes, we have colors. The colors are very creative, but at the end of the day, while we are working on the design, we are able to establish our color guide. Again, blue can only work with this, yellow can only work with black and blue. Again, and even the proportion. So yeah, design system doesn't necessarily have to be like a 50 pager. You get? This is the fundamental, and it can be expanded depending on the task assigned.
Something I want to talk about. Look where we choose like this font.
Okay.
Like this font as the header, because hackathon in the name is Behance Africa making a hackathon, right? So we want something that could be very identifiable with Behance Africa, and this text is like the son or the daughter of Behance, right? You can see the brick, you can see it also. And the reason why we chose this as our secondary font is readable. So for infos that we need to read, like names of people, right, they are much more better. And
Beautiful.
if this one was small as a readable text,
you won't be able to interpret it.
It will be very difficult for people to read. So legibility is key in design. The legibility for you to have a lot of info simplified on one flyer is much easier to get. Now, this is not too much, but this is unique on its own. Why? You have your Behance Africa, you have your headliner, you have your image of the person, and then you have your hackathon logo. On a normal day, what most designers will do is that, okay, you put speaker, you put hackathon logo on top, and just change one of them their colors. That would be too much going on. Look how clean this one has turned out. So at the end of the day, yes, we all know it's a hackathon event, and I'm glad we've been able to simplify everything by thoroughly thinking through what needs to be done in design. Like I always say, it's about deducting or subtracting the obvious and adding the meaningful. That's just basic design principles.
Beautiful. So what we call this series?